y bienvenidos a este video donde vamos a hablar de todas las cosas que se pueden encontrar en los dormitorios. Hello and welcome to this Spanish video lesson where we're going to be learning all the different words for things that we find in bedrooms. Wardrobes, desks, chairs, of course beds, posters, all those sorts of words, lamps, computers, tables, all the things that we might find in a bedroom. También vamos a aprender las preposiciones del lugar. We're also going to learn prepositions of place. Now these are phrases like next to, on top of, underneath, beside, in between, and we're going to look at those in the context of things, items in the bedroom, but these are really useful words and phrases that we can use in lots of different areas as well. For example, if you're in, let's say, Spain, and you ask someone for directions, ¿Dónde está el museo? Where is the museum? They might say, el museo está al lado de la catedral. It's next to the cathedral, so it's going to help you in that sort of scenario. They might say, está detrás del centro comercial. It's behind the shopping centre. So these prepositions of place are really useful, and although we're looking at them in a topic that maybe you won't use in the future, you're probably not going to strike up conversation about items in your bedroom, it's going to teach us lots of grammar and structures and really useful things that we can apply in different ways in the future. Las metas de esta clase son aprender las palabras para diferentes muebles del dormitorio, aprender a describir lo que tú tienes en tu dormitorio y poder usar algunas preposiciones del lugar. Primero vamos a aprender otra manera de decir dormitorio. Podemos decir dormitorio, bedroom, o también habitación. También significa bedroom. That also means bedroom. So two words for bedroom, dormitorio or habitación. And in lots of Latin America, sometimes it's referred to as la pieza as well. So another word that you can listen out for. So today we're going to use habitación, just because we've used dormitorio before, and this will help us to learn this other word, habitación. You can think of dormitorio, remember the dormitories where someone sleeps. Habitación, some students of mine like to think of, it's their habitat. It's kind of your space. So they're sort of two tricks for remembering these two words. So if you want to talk about what sort of furniture and things, items we have in our bedroom, we can use this phrase. En mi habitación hay. Now I, it looks like the word hey, but remember it's it's a silent H. It's pronounced just like the word I in English, E-Y-E. And it means there is or there are. So we're saying in my bedroom there is or there are. And we can say una guitarra, unos cajones, some drawers, una cama, an important one, no bedroom is complete without one, a bed, una lámpara, so a near cognate, really similar word to the English, a lamp, una lámpara, y un cartel, a poster. Sometimes the word póster is used as well. Now a computer in Spain is called un ordenador, and in Latin America it's generally called un computador, or also sometimes it's feminine, una computadora. Okay, so you can choose one of those words, but you need to, obviously, computador, computadora. If you're an English speaker, you're going to understand that if you hear it. So the word that you need to focus on learning is ordenador, because that's the one that, unless you learn it, you might not know what it is from the context. You can think of it as, orden means order, so it's something that puts things in order, it organizes things. That's one way to try and remember that word. A chair is una silla, una silla. So remember that double L, it's not a L sound, it's not silla, it can be silla, silla, or silla. Okay, that's the three ways it's pronounced in the Spanish-speaking world, but never silla. Now if the corner of our bedroom looked like this, we could say, en mi habitación hay un ordenador, una silla, una mesa, una planta, un espejo, a mirror, y una ventana, a window, una ventana. Now mesa means table, it's kind of the general word for table, so you can use it to talk about coffee table, dining table. This is obviously a desk. There is a word that specifically means desk, which is escritorio, which kind of linked to the word escribir, which is to write. But at this stage you can just call a desk a table, and then you've got one word that serves for any sort of table, and you can worry about learning the different words for different sorts of tables when you get to a sort of intermediate level of Spanish. Okay, the last couple of words we need are wardrobe and shelves. A wardrobe is un armario. A wardrobe, un armario. One thing I've said to my students to remember this is, imagine you open your wardrobe and Super Mario is in there. It's a bit silly, but sometimes if a word doesn't look like a word in English, if there's no kind of logical link that you can find, you need to come up with your own sort of strategy to remember things, and if it's a bit silly, you're more likely to remember it. That might not work for everyone. Different people have different strategies for remembering words, but it does seem to have worked for some students, because if I say, what's a wardrobe? And they can't think of it, I say, you open the wardrobe and you see, oh yeah, Super Mario, armario. Okay, so you might come up with your own strategies for remembering words. If you do have another strategy for remembering any of these words, do put it in the comments as well, because it might help someone else. And then finally, a shelf is una estantería. Una estantería. And I'm afraid I haven't yet thought of a strategy to remember that one. That's probably the hardest one to memorize. Okay, so now we're going to move on and learn the prepositions that we need to know. And there's some vocab here that you might not know. El hombre is the man, and la caja is the box. So we're going to be talking about the man and the box and their sort of position relative to the other. So we're going to talk about where the man is in relation to the box. So for this one, he is in front of the box. So in Spanish we'd say el hombre está, the man is delante de, in front of, la caja, the box. El hombre está delante de la caja. The man is in front of the box. Okay, now the man is next to the box. So in Spanish we'd say el hombre está al lado de la caja. So lado means side, to the side of the box, or next to the box. So both those things, to the side of or next to, in Spanish they both become al lado de. Okay, for this one, he is obviously on top of the box, so we'd say el hombre está encima de la caja. Encima de la caja. Now he's behind the box. El hombre está detrás de la caja. Detrás de la caja. Now he's under the box. El hombre está debajo de la caja. Debajo de la caja. And remember, when we talked about, if you haven't seen the video, I recommend you watch it, because it's sort of the one before this. When we talked about rooms of the house, and we looked at upstairs, arriba, up, and abajo was down. So debajo is kind of linked to abajo. Abajo, down, debajo, underneath. El hombre está entre las dos cajas. So he is in between, entre the two boxes. El hombre está entre las dos cajas. The man is between the two boxes, or in between. Okay, now he is inside the box. El hombre está dentro de la caja. Dentro de la caja. Okay, so if we wanted to describe the things in this room here, then we can use these prepositions of place. For example, I could say something like, el ordenador está encima de la mesa. El ordenador está encima de la mesa. I could say, hay, remember there is or there are, hay un espejo al lado de la ventana. There is a mirror next to the window. And look at how I've changed, in the first one, I've changed un ordenador, a computer, to el ordenador, the computer, because I want to say the computer's on top of the table. I don't want to say a computer is on top of a table. I want to be really specific, because we're talking about this room here. Whereas when I say there is, I could say there is the mirror, but it sounds a bit strange. When we use I, we tend to use un or una. So there is a mirror next to the window. Okay, so in this case we would say the window. So be careful with those, and remember un becomes el and vice versa, una becomes la. So remember masculine and feminine nouns. I could also say la silla roja está delante de la mesa. So here I've used an adjective as well. I've said the red chair, and remember in English it goes adjective noun, in Spanish it goes noun adjective. The chair red. La silla roja, and it needs to agree. Silla, it's la, it's feminine, so it becomes roja instead of rojo. La silla roja está delante de la mesa. The red chair is in front of the table. Okay, now to finish off, I've got a bit of an activity, and this is not just practice for what we've looked at in this lesson, but also practice for what we've looked in the videos that have come before, such as talking about where we live, talking about our age, talking about our family, talking about rooms of the house, all the different things in the beginners playlist. So there might be things here, if you've sort of just come to this video, there might be a few things that you haven't learned yet. Just have a bit of a read through and do what you can, and it might be that this helps you to work out what bits you need to focus on and maybe which video to watch next. So basically on the left here we have a Spanish text. The Spanish text is perfect, it's correct, there's no problems, everything is 100% correct, but the problem is that the English translation is wrong. So there are 14 mistakes in the English translation, and by mistakes I don't mean there are spelling mistakes or there's missing punctuation. I mean it's wrong in terms of the translation is done badly. Let's have a look at the first mistake together. So it says, Hola, me llamo Laura. Hello, I'm called Laura. Yep, that's fine. Y tengo 12 años, and I'm 13 years old. Now 12 doesn't mean 13, does it? That's 13. 12 means 12, so that's the first mistake. They're the sorts of mistakes that you're looking out for. So generally it's the wrong word that's been used. What would also be great is if where you've spotted a mistake, you write what the correction is, you write what it should say. Because then you're not just spotting mistakes, you're not just saying, okay, I know that 13 isn't 12, you're also saying, I know that 12 is 12. Okay, so it kind of adds another layer to the activity, which will help you to revise this content. So when you're ready, pause the video, read through, look very carefully at the details, read the Spanish, and then think about, compare it with the English. You can read the English first and compare it with the Spanish, whichever way works best for you, but try and find those 14 mistakes, and then when you're ready, just push play. Okay, so let's go through. So we know it's not 13, it should say 12. Next up, it shouldn't say June, it says enero, which is January. It shouldn't say brother, because it says hermana, with an A on the end. Hermana is sister, brother would be hermano. Then it says blonde hair, it's not blonde hair. Ella tiene el pelo castaño, which is brown hair. If it were blonde, it would say rubio. Green eyes, that's fine. In my opinion, she's quite short. It does say baja, which means short, but it says muy baja, very short. Now if it were to say quite, it would be bastante. Just like quite good looking, bastante guapa. I would say that she's kind and also sporty. Diría que ella es amable, yep. Y también divertida. Divertida isn't sporty. Sporty would be deportista. Divertida means fun. Okay, in paragraph 2 we have a small house. It should say big house, casa grande. Small house would be casa pequeña. Quite pretty, again it's not quite, it's muy, which is very. Quite would be bastante bonita. 2 bedrooms, it says hay 3 habitaciones. There should be 3 bedrooms in the English translation. Dining room, that would be un comedor, but it says un salón, which is a living room. Headphones, that would be audífonos or auriculares, but it says equipo de música, which is a stereo. Organizer, it shouldn't be organizer, it should say computer. Shelves, it shouldn't be shelves. Un armario, what was it? You open and you see Mario, Super Mario. A wardrobe. Un armario is a wardrobe. Shelves would be estanterías. Además, hay una ventana con vista al campo. Furthermore, there's a poster with a view of the countryside. Not a poster, but a window. So a poster would be un cartel or un póster, but una ventana is a window with a view of the countryside. So hopefully that has helped you to kind of, read quite an extended text, which has lots of really useful vocabulary in there for us, and it's a good model for us to do our own writing and speaking, and it's also made us think about lots of different vocabulary, not just from this video, but from past videos as well. Before you go, I'm just going to quickly explain how to make the most of using Spanish with James. If you head over to the main channel, you'll find on the landing page that there are lots of different sections. There's a section for beginner Spanish with all of the beginners level videos. There's one for intermediate Spanish, advanced Spanish, and there's one for poetry as well. So it's all nicely organized so that you can find the videos that are right for you at where you're at on your Spanish journey. And again, if you haven't already done so, it'd mean a lot if you just very gently click that subscribe button. And that brings us to the end of the video. Muchísimas gracias por ver este video y espero que te vaya muy bien con el español.